This podcast contains mature themes, questionable humor, and explicit language. Listen with discretion. Please take care.
Dialogue over drama?
Let's see what the fuck this puzzle is.
Yeah, what does it look like? Let go of control and see what happens. I think I'm going to have better experiences.
I held my nose. I closed my eyes. I took a drink. I didn't know if it was day or night, and I started kissing everything in sight. But when I kissed a cop down at 34th and Vine, this is Dialogue Over Drama, episode 49.
Oh, that's great.
I am Danny Dialogue.
I am Courtney Drama, and I thought this was episode 48.
No, this is 48. Damn it, it is 48. Oh, shit. Welcome to episode 49. I am Dialogue Danny.
And you are here with Courtney Drama.
And in this episode, we get into a little bit of the naughty in the mid, but not super naughty. You gotta pay for that shit.
Yeah, I choose my words very, very carefully, and I think I say what I need to say without saying what I need to say. So if you know, you know.
Do you fuck chickens?
Yes, she does. That's what we find out. It's super exciting. Are you regretting me loading these buttons back up?
Those are the worst. I mean, I like just the other one.
Oh, you like
I'm a little upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this episode's really interesting because I think we get into another type of argument, and aside from like the sex thing and kind of just talking about another podcast and their content and kind of how, we like very PG. We kept it kind of just high level on what I think that's been like. I do unpack a little bit of like some issues there on the topic and how I'm working through that. But then we get into kind of actually just how the podcast started and what our fights were.
Yeah,
during the beginning of those times working on a project together.
Yeah, it was really interesting to kind of unpack the box because like we both kind of learned where both of us were coming from, because at that point it was hard to talk to each other because we were both on edge about the podcast because we're both
I was nervous and you had a vision and I wasn't executing your said vision. Yeah. And now we've collaborated so peacefully.
And all you could hear was, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah. And I do think one thing I don't think I actually said in the episode, but I do like the way that now, I'd say probably in the last like several months, that we listen to each other about the direction of the podcast, because as we built up a lot of fun things and ways for people to kind of who are listening to understand maybe our views on different things, different topics, different games, and start to learn our sense of humor. Like we're very easygoing people. So once all that was kind of done, it just kind of stuck. And then I remember coming back to you and saying, like, I feel like we've gotten really off track here about relationships. Right. And being able to say that to you, and you kind of thought about it, and you're like, yeah, you're right. You know what? Okay, yeah. We've done enough of, like, the fun stuff and stuff like just random topics just to get, a feel for what's kind of happening. And then we kind of got back on track about relationships. Like,
and I've enjoyed gung-ho for it. I was so gung-ho.
But I also think, too, it's like that's where my nerve started to decrease, because now I wasn't trying to talk about topics that I know nothing about. And again, now I feel like if we were to bring up those random topics here and there, I'm comfortable enough to add to the conversation. But also, like, talking about relationships is the time that we carve out for each other because our schedules are so different. We actually get to sit and, like, decompress and talk about things. And I think the track that we're on now, talking about past fights and our growth, people, like, get to hear those raw conversations, which is kind of like the whole point of our podcast now, like, is communication.
100%.
Right? Like, somebody listening that, like, struggles in their relationship and whatever. And so, like, the whole point of this episode is, like, we fought trying to do the right thing. Like, we argued to get where we are now. Right. Like, to kind of, and that all took communication.
We had the right arguments, and we, and we kept trying to reattack the same argument to try to get to the point where we both always want to be. You understanding where I'm coming from and me understanding where you're coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we have either personal hurdles, outside hurdles, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, but it's all the battle scars and wars and everything.
Yeah.
And what I really like about, the mid that we did today, talking about like the Fuck Buddies podcast, and I really like that I can even talk to you about stuff where I'm like, instead of looking for praise, but just saying to you, I'm not looking for praise, which is where your brain always goes to in that, and just being like, I'm reflecting on how I was in our past, and not have it be me looking for praise.
Right. No, I'm
eyes.
trying to be a little bit more forthcoming as I'm reflecting, and especially because it's recorded, so that when you go to edit it, you get to hear it not once but twice. That you're awesome. You've put in a ton of effort. You've done a wonderful job.
Hitting what I just said, I didn't want to talk about.
Yeah. No, but I am. I genuinely am, though. Like, I know that's not... You're saying it without saying it. So, like, I know naturally you do need encouragement. You do need acknowledgement. You do need to know that you're doing a good job. Like, you need that kind of confirmation. And again, as we've said many times on this podcast, I lack a lot of empathy towards you. I suck at giving compliments. So I think now, because we're in a reflective stage, especially over the next few episodes, I think we should continue talking about different fights. I hope after a couple episodes, and the people that do listen to our podcast that we know, I hope we can get some feedback that, do they like it? Do they like hearing what we have to say about past fights? Right. Do they like, maybe, and we've already had an episode where we've actually been like mid-argument kind of. So like that works out too. But no, I do know that you're not like, oh, look at me. But at the same time, I know that it feels good. And especially because when I put together our 12-year anniversary video for you, with all of those clips.
We've already been dating 12 years. Oh, when
I went a few months back. Yeah. It wasn't really aired. I did post. Well, you posted a PG version on your social media, but the whole fucking video that I made, when I had to go back and listen to a lot of our past episodes, there wasn't a lot of stuff that I said nice about you. At the end of the video, me saying like, you've been my biggest cheerleader, that was like one of few things where I was like complimenting you.
Right. You said it in episode 48.
But that was, but I just know that when I was putting all those clips together, I was like, oh, like you say so many great things. And so I'm trying to be reflective, but also understanding that you do need to hear it. And I was just being funny by saying, instead of saying it once, you get to hear it, like hearing it once, you hear it twice. Oh, okay. Once you edit it. Just to really rub that ego of yours. Anywho, this episode...
is why you suck at sarcasm. Like,
this episode's great. This is the part where I feel like if we were recording visuals of our podcast right now, as people would be laughing along, because like my facial expression while I'm saying it, you can tell I'm teasing you. Yeah. And you're like blushing a little bit. It's cute.
Okay, let's just change the channel. Okay. All rise, if it pleases the court. All right, Your Honor. So, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I waited so long. I know, I did it purposely.
See, I was being funny.
So annoying. So anyways, Your Honor, that's not a way that I should be talking to a judge. I am sorry, Your Honor. Please don't give me a contempt of the court.
Prison for life.
Prison for lice. Okay.
Prison for life with lice and lots of butt sex.
All right. So since we started podcasting, there's a couple cool things that I've learned. I've learned that there's a lot of cool podcasters around. Like, like tons of people have podcasts. It isn't a special thing as it used to be, right? But there's a lot of like little independent things, and some that are really, really good, well respected, like even award winning, that are just in our backyard. And, even in Toronto, there's a lot out of Toronto. It was a happy little surprise about 3 weeks ago when I brought up a podcast that I had been listening to called Fuck Buddies. And you were like, oh shit,
it's great.
I used to listen to those guys. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. I've been listening to these two guys, and one of the things that happens when you're listening to podcasts a lot of the time is you're like, oh wow, this is really cool. They're kind of like really close, and like I like what they're doing. And then you come across one episode, and you're like, oh shit, I can't like these guys anymore.
Oh no, what?
No. They haven't done it.
Oh.
That's the thing that I'm super happy about.
I just stopped listening because I just haven't had time. But I still follow them. They're good.
So because I'm canning and I'm working all the time, like I have headphones on all the time and I'm listening to podcasts. So like I've been backtracking through like their catalog, and there was they deal with a lot of dating and like, sex related questions. Yeah. And there was one that they brought up that I thought was really cool because it reminded of us and it triggered something about us. And this is something that we're going to go a little bit into like the sex realm in this mid today. And I know that's weird, but we're going to stay clean and everything, but we're going to dip into the sex realm for 2 seconds. And One of the things that they brought up was like people asking questions, girls who are like in their early 20s or like 18, and like a lot of what they have is like the porn thing, and they're constantly talking about like trying to mimic porn.
Right.
And it reminded me of when we first started dating, when it came to like adult time. There was a weird thing that I think it was very cool how I just wanted to reflect on the fact of how sex is something that everybody pretty much has, but not many. It's a very, I've noticed that it's a very, from listening to this podcast, it's a very different thing that people didn't talk about. Like to actually have conversations about sex. And the conversation just not like, how do I get sex, but like actually having the back and forth about sex.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think it is talked about enough.
And it was like reflecting on like our, like the beginning of our relationship. So I was wondering if like you could talk about like, because you obviously weren't talking about how you felt back then. And I'm not talking about anything crazy. Like, I'm not wanting you to devolve, but I mean, like, just like the respect for you and like the overbearing, not that you didn't have respect before, but the actual conversation that came with sex. How was that for you dealing with someone talking to you? Actually having a dialogue with you about sex.
That was weird in itself, because like I grew up where I didn't get the big birds and the bees talk.
Right.
Really in depth, and if they did, I clearly wasn't paying attention.
I don't think many kids do. Like I think that's just a general thing with
But I
people.
also like, well, and that's fine. Like, if it's not a formal sit down, this is what we're going to talk about. But if it's an open conversation and it comes up and questions are answered respectfully in an educational manner to your kid, that's great. I don't think I had even that. Right. So my questions weren't answered. And then I went to a Catholic school, so my questions definitely weren't answered. And anything that I learned about sex was kind of from like friends and also then the internet, right? So right off the hop, I'm exposed to a world of what I should do, who I should be,
right, and
all of that influence. Well, and then as I got older before you, that side of life came hand in hand with what influence I had, because that was probably that said person's influence.
Right.
So everything in what I thought sex was just that. Right. And that was it. Then I meet you. And then conversations and everything about sex as a whole was just different and open, and there was courtesy and there was respect and there was options.
It wasn't
and
used as a weapon too. Like
yeah,
I mean, like there was no like weaponizing it.
Again, my view of it was very weaponizing.
Right.
That was my influence up. So for me, it was very much, yes, you used it as a threat. You used it as a reward. You used it as manipulation. You know, it's all about you, not me.
Right.
And that was kind of just like my whole take on it. So to then meet you and it, like, you give me options. There's an option to say no. There's an option on what happens.
Yeah.
How it happens. And it was like, I had a say. And like, because you were so respectful about it and so open to talk about it. And you brought up topics that I also thought like you didn't talk about. Like, right. It was just weird. You really kind of like, I mean, even now, I think we definitely have a very healthy relationship talking about sex. But I do remember there being a big period of time where we couldn't talk about sex. And I remember you saying that to me. You're like, we can't talk about these things. And like, I never brought up any good things or bad things. And I felt like anytime I did bring it up, it was, you were willing to have the conversation with me. But then the second you were having the conversation with me, my awkward ass was like, why are we talking about this? And then you're like, you brought it up. Like, I wanted to talk about things, but didn't know how. And so then you stop bringing stuff up. I think now we're just at a healthy point. Like, obviously everything's fine. If I want to talk about it, I'll talk about it with you. And I think now at this stage of my life, I can talk about it so much more confidently, where before it was like taboo in my brain. And it was almost like I have no right to talk about how I feel or what I like or don't like. But you allowed me to do that. I just still was awkward for fucking years about it.
Sorry, I know it's totally like throwing you off topic. You're like thinking about wanting to talk about like something like in depth, like mental health, and I'm like, hey, we're going to talk about sex right now. Like, so
yeah,
I'm sorry to throw it.
No, you totally threw me off, and also because, like I said, like I'm being very careful with my words and how I describe it because I don't want to give too much detail. Like, so I definitely, but that's my answer. Like, I just saw sex one way for so many years, and then I now see it in a very healthy way because of you.
So when I met you, like the reason that I'm kind of bringing it up right now is like in a if it pleases the court thing is
Sex always pleases me.
Thank you. So when it comes to that, like listening to these guys talk, and they just have like a rational consent base.
Yeah.
Like there's things that they've said along the lines of like, you know, go to therapy, get therapy, and then, you know, like, and somewhere down the line we also give good advice. Like that's kind of like their vibe is always like, hey, this is just. And I love how everything is like devil's advocate and everything they break down. You know, when it comes to me, I don't like being complimented like on certain things because I feel like I'm just like bragging about myself. But the more I listen to them, the more I feel confident that I really am proud of the way I handled it. Because like we do have a big age gap in our relationship, and I don't want my brain to take over that aspect. I'm glad that I 100% was what you needed at that point of view.
Right.
Because I was walking on eggshells, never been in this situation before. And like to listen to people that are like, yeah, this is the way you should be. And I'm like, I was that way. Holy shit. Yeah, Dan did the right thing. Yay, that's exciting. So it's just been really uplifting to listen to those dudes. So it had me thinking about this. So I'm like, I know it's going to come out, and I think this is a good way to do it. So that's why it was if it pleases the court. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And just on the note of therapy too, like that's like one thing that I do remember like talking to my therapist about for a while was like just the topic itself, where I was like, I really struggle with talking about it. I don't understand why I can't openly talk about it. And I mean, I've only gone to therapy for the last 3 years. So like even then it's still fresh in terms of it's a topic that I think it's a topic I struggle talking about seriously.
Right.
But I love making sex jokes. I love the humor. I have a very dirty sense of humor. Like, so it's that. And I think it's me masking real talk with humor. All that stuff's fun, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I still haven't fully, my therapist and I, we never really, like I brought it up. We just haven't really dove into it because I was more focused on obviously like anxiety and other things. But yeah, there's some topics that I think in the new year I want to like revisit with her as like, okay, I've got this area kind of figured out, and like we can put it on the back burner, and then we got this area figured out. And it's like, okay, I want to approach this area now and be like, what doesn't make sense? Especially because now, like being more focused, I have time to think more.
Right.
I have time to compartmentalize things and process things. So.
Well, I think one of the healthy things that we did is like we obviously have a Patreon that we will launch in the future, and like we've done a couple episodes of us just like talking about the nitty gritty about sex, getting into it, and other stuff too.
We definitely have, and I think it's always like me talking from like an outward perspective of like it's a topic of something sexual, which is fine. It's hard for me to talk about like my internal thoughts.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, again, we can talk about hookers. We can talk about lingerie. We can talk about sex lives of other people. We can like talk about sex and so many other topics. But the second it comes down to like my personal thoughts, opinions.
Right.
That's kind of where I struggle a little bit, and it sucks for you, but like we're fine. Like there's no issues here.
No.
It's just I know that I have a lot of things that like
we've done so much communication that like your body language is loud enough to me when it comes to stuff of intimacy that I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like during the physical act,
Yeah.
like we know each other well enough that like there's cues, if you will.
Well, yeah, when you're with someone for so long too, like you get it, you know what works, doesn't work, and also like I'm confident and vocal enough to say like what isn't working in the moment, what is, whatever. But I just mean like, and it's deep, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. But that's the stuff I'm trying to figure out. But no, their podcast is great. Like I do really think some of the topics that they cover are awesome. I think in the time that like when I had time to sit and just listen to them, there was a lot that I learned, and there's a lot because they play the devil's advocate. There's a lot of just putting things in perspective. Right. So. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it also kind of gives me more of a modern day perception of dating, because all I see online is just really like man hating shit or like women hating shit. Like it's just always negative about the other sex, where it's just nice to hear good advice, especially being a bartender, right? Too, because like I have to deal with people all the time, and maybe my thoughts are outdated. Like I'm hearing what's going on,
what's current,
like and the way people look at that world. Because I've been out of that world for more than a decade. I was never good at it anyways. So like it's cool to hear that perspective. But anyways,
if it pleases Judge Court, basically moral is what pleases me.
Well, how I treated you.
Oh, yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I got it.
So I win on that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we'll change the channel.
Well, I think I just lost my mind, and I guess you can't lose it, I can never find.
Okay, so now that we're on a roll with a couple of episodes about past fights and going down memory lane and trying to piece together how we communicated, how we handle things, how we felt then and how we feel now. Last episode we got into like the tattoo fight. This one, which we kind of talked a little bit about, is just how the whole podcast freaking started. Right? We had an idea of wanting to have this podcast to talk about things. And when we finally put it into action as, oh my gosh, this is something in 12 years of our relationship that we can actually work on as a project together as a couple.
Because it was an ongoing joke that we couldn't work together.
Yep, ongoing joke, we can't work together. And this was a true test of working together. There was fights. There was arguments and fights along the way. There was tears. Oh my gosh, do you remember the one time we were like mid-recording and I literally just got up, walked away and cried?
I have it on tape.
We had some beef. It's interesting because looking back now on the way that you were trying to structure the podcast, you wanted there to be comedy and there was I felt there was a lot of pressure to be a certain way on top of nerves.
Right.
I will say I was very nervous to be recorded. I felt like I had to be perfect. I felt like things had to be said a certain way. And so I recall wanting to give up very early in the podcast. I'm very glad we didn't. But I recall it being hard, and I felt like you were really tough on me.
Right.
In the beginning. I felt like I was some sort of fucking clown. I felt like I had to be funny all the time. And now looking back, the biggest takeaway that I've learned is all you were trying to say was, can you just yes and me? Can you just stop shutting everything that I say down that keeps the conversation going? Yeah, you were being hard on me. Maybe not in a comedic sense. You didn't want me to, like, I was going dark. I was going really serious and dark on a lot of early episodes that we never aired and all that. And you were like having this plan of how to build a foundation of how do we get people to get to know us without getting so deep and serious right away.
Right.
And so with keeping it light and fun and engaging so that people want to listen to our whole episode, I now know that you were just like, go with it. Yes, and me. Yes, this and that. And I mean, we even a couple of episodes ago, we got into one of our tiffs where I had a schedule. This is the topic we're talking about. And I got so mad that we weren't staying on track and there's the control of that. So you were trying to control, okay, just be light, be funny, go with the convo. And then I was just battling that. And then now I battle it to an extreme of like, what do you mean we're not staying on script? And then I'm trying to go with the flow. It's been a whole mixture of fucking shit in the beginning. But what's your take?
Okay, so I'm going to have to work backwards here. So what you just said about the whole, like, even a couple episodes, you had one of those wanting to control things. Mm-hmm. So I relate everything to music. Right now in my brain, if we're a band, we're practicing and we're playing a couple gigs, like just like small gigs where it's like if you're at that bar, you found out about it. You're not coming because like you bought tickets. You just like randomly saw us. We're just hanging out. We're getting really good at practicing. And like, you know, like our stuff sounds good. We're good enough to like do this. And then it gets to the point where we play like we open at a theater show somewhere. And like that's the level that we're both at. We're grooving. Where your brain goes from there, where I'm like, okay, let's coast at good for a bit and then we can learn what works, what doesn't. Your brain is like, I bought a fog machine and 18 lights. And you're like, so like you always want to take what's good, make it bigger, not naturally. You always want to like have it appear to be something that it's not yet, because then this will catch up to it.
And you have a little bit, as we've probably talked about in the past, good enough vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know good enough is good enough. So because whenever you go see a band play or you see something, it's like these people think they're at the top. Mm-hmm. So if you're at the top, there's no room for improvement.
Right.
So that's where my brain goes all the time with the podcast. Like even like when we started recording, you were like, I'm going to start talking so we have enough minutes to be able to put something out. That was your mindset.
Yeah.
And my mindset was, this is your first time in front of a mic. You don't know how to actually converse back.
Sorry, hang on. I'm going to correct you there. It was actually the opposite. From the get-go, I have wanted our podcast episodes to be 30 minutes.
Right.
I was happy at 30 minutes. You're the one that was like, we need more content and then structure and this and that. And like, we're at 45 minutes to an hour sometimes because of you.
Right.
Like, if it was my way, I've always wanted 30 minutes. I've always wanted short and sweet, but you felt like you couldn't capture enough
Right.
in that. So, yes, it was about quality, which even in the 30 minutes that I wanted to talk about something maybe wasn't the best of quality. But to me, I was like, it's fine, whatever. I disagree. I disagree with you. I don't think that I tried to make it like all so perfect.
I didn't mean like the time of the podcast. I just meant like, oh, we've recorded enough to be able to just put something out. It didn't matter how good it was. It was just we had something, so we should put something out.
Okay, which is probably why we scrapped the first few episodes then.
That's what I mean.
I was fine with them. Like, it's content, put it out, and you're like, yeah, but it's shit.
Yeah.
Or we got nowhere, or it's, you know what I mean?
Like, I was trying to explain, like, people don't care. Like, people don't care. And I still feel that way. The odd person that's going to listen to two random people that aren't famous, that aren't anything.
And I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you were trying to build a foundation. Right? You're
100%.
like, people don't care. Like, when I say foundation, I mean, yes, episode 1, we talk about how we met. Awesome, great, cool. But we didn't really get much into about us for a while because who cares? That's where you were coming from. You're like, nobody knows us, nobody cares. So all of our topics were about other things. It was about, you know, a video that we saw, something funny, something relatable, whatever, to get people to care. And then once they listen to us and they like the way we converse, now they care about us, hopefully. Right. And now we talk more about ourselves. So I understand how you like very methodically kind of mapped this out.
Well, it's
looking back, I love the way that you did it because it makes sense.
Right. I wish that I could have explained it to you back then the way I just came up with the analogy for it right now because of listening to you explain what my theory was.
Yeah.
As weird as that whole fuckaroo
sentence
sounds.
just was. Yeah. You like that I get it now.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that was a great way to do it. I love that you did it that way. I understand how you're like, oh, I wish I could explain it like that back then because maybe it would have been not as much of a fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think from my point of view, I felt a lot of pressure. I felt like obviously with my own nerves and all of that, it was really frustrating to do it all, like just to start it. And now we have a good flow and some episodes are super fun for you to edit and some are, oh my God, absolutely just draining. And I get that.
Reliving a fight.
And I know I'm pretty confident in how we've recorded some episodes that I don't always need to listen and double check them. But because I love to just control and have the final say on what words Daniel uses.
Right.
I usually give it a listen over. But yeah, your editing has improved so much too, which is awesome. We've had definitely a lot of arguments on the type of content. We've had arguments on my lack of social media posting, which I've tried to get really good at and better at.
Well, that's the weird thing is like entering into this agreement where we're working on something together. It's weird because like I'm so used to working on art projects with other people and you're notoriously a solo artist.
Right. Yeah. Like you don't try to work on a project with somebody else and then also hope that they suck your dick that night. Like with me, it's I get it. Like you're trying to talk to me like we're in a relationship. Then you're trying to talk to me when we're editing and doing content and stuff related to the podcast that's in a very business manner, and then you also want me to still suck your dick that night. So, you're walking that fine line of like, I love her and I still want to do this project with her, but she's so hard to work with.
I think part of the problem is like that concept doesn't enter my brain.
I know, I'm just bugging you.
No, but it's a serious point though, in the fact that like I think part of my problem is when it comes to like the podcast, I need to remember sometimes that you are my girlfriend.
Yeah, we're still dating. You still love me, and
because I'm like, no. If we want to do this, we've both agreed we really want to do this. These are the things that have to be done.
Yeah, we have boundaries. We have rules for each other. We have our structure.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that we communicate about it though. Like even last night, like we had a nice day out. We went to go see my mom's like recital. We came home, whatever. We were doing dinner, and then it was just kind of like, do you want to record tonight? Because that's usually our structured day to record.
Yeah, Sunday nights.
But once we talk about it, and like with the fact that like, because we're in a relationship still, it's not like a business agreement per se, but where we're flexible and we were like, yeah, let's record tomorrow night. Like, it's fine.
Absolutely.
And now we're sticking to it. That's the part where we're holding each other accountable. Like, we're still like, nope, we said we'll do it tonight. We have to.
Yeah.
So no, I like that you and I flip between kind of the business sense, because it does give me hope that this has been a huge project for almost a year. Like, in February, it'll be a year that we've released episodes. But actually, technically, we should find out the date when we first recorded, because maybe we are coming up on a year of recording.
Well, I would say the first time that we released
probably was January. Soon.
I could probably tell you right now.
I guess what I was saying was that this has been a huge project for us. So it gets me excited about thinking about other things that we can work on together.
Well, no, and I think that's, well, I said for years to you, and I'm very happy that we're doing it now. I'm like, if you and I ever found a way to work together, which now that we've said it so many times on this episode, it's not that we would just struggle. We always got things done together. Mm-hmm. Like, we never didn't accomplish stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was like very much, okay, you do you. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like me normally just submitting to you so we can get the thing done. Yeah. And then when you would back yourself in a corner, be like, help. And then I would help, and then the thing would get done. Like,
right.
We always got things done.
Yeah.
And didn't really kill each other that much. Like I said before, I've said for years that when it comes to our relationship, I'm like, you're so smart and artsy that, like, but you're someone who doesn't like to create something out of scratch. I'm someone that likes to come up with something from scratch like 400 times a day, and then just don't have the ability or the person who I can work with to take my dream and make it happen, because it's a great idea. And that's the way it's always worked with music. That's the way it's always worked with me in life. So when it comes to you having that ability, I've always thought once we kind of are able to dial it in and have our both thoughts work together without clashing, that'll be perfect. And this is the closest we've gotten, is this podcast.
Yeah, because there was a while where only recently I've contributed ideas for the podcast. You did 95% of the legwork, not only with like the editing and figuring out what gear we need, but even just all like the segments. And I mean, so here's the thing, was my idea.
Right.
But yeah, all the segment ideas you come up with, and the topics that we were going to talk about, or the games that you would put together, like that all takes time. And like, so you did a lot of that, and I would just show up and talk. Recently, I've obviously contributed more, but yeah, I remember some of our fights being on that, because at that point, you would politely say stuff like, oh, you should keep notes in your phone of ideas, right. Or, oh, if you see something on social media, like an article, a video, anything, save it. Like, you were getting frustrated that you were living and breathing the podcast and I wasn't. Even now, still think that if we were to split, like, who takes it more seriously, like, it is you.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I love it. I think it was a great idea.
I think you don't know. I think you don't know how to help in a way that is productive.
I do. I know.
You have tons of, like, the things that you know how to do, you're doing great.
Yes, and I have tons of great ideas and stuff, and I know how I need to help more, because you've clearly told me.
Yeah.
Have I fully done it? No, I've done better, but I haven't fully done it in the way that I think you would expect me to. Like, because you're like, oh my God, you're going to have so much drive, and now that you're going to do all these things. And that's why I said, like, definitely medication with ADHD and focusing has increased that momentum of trying and the effort. Like, I will say that. It does go in waves. But I remember there being, like, tons of arguments where you were like, because you were frustrated and tired at that point, where you're like, I've just come up with all the ideas. I've come up with all these things. I've told you, like, and you would get frustrated when you would ask me, hey, like, do you know what you want to record this week? And I'd be like, no. And you'd be like, and like, okay. And then the next week. And like, even if you had stuff ready, you just wanted me to contribute. Right. And you would read me notes and like pages of notes on your phone of all these ideas. I think
a lot of that frustrate me the most, that I would end up freaking out about. I'd be like, hey, do you have anything? No, I got nothing. And then I would start doing the podcast, and you would be like, I don't even know what you're saying. And like, you would be like putting down even the ideas that I had in it, where I'm like, just Like,
And again, I do remember that was a lot of like the whole, like you were talking about improv and like the way that people do comedy and the way that like people have conversations on TV. It's always that yes and or go with it. So you would bring up a topic hoping that I would be like, oh, interesting, and continue, whether it be ask questions or have something to say. And I had the hardest time with you bringing up topics that I just genuinely wasn't interested in. So to me, it felt fake, it felt forced, and I was again, looking back, because there's even days now where I don't take my medication. I know the energy it takes, and I get it when you express it now, where you're like, it does. It takes so much fucking energy to pay attention, to listen, to care. Like, it is. And so I remember just all the effort I would put in just trying, and even then it didn't feel like it was good enough, because you were like, you're not giving me anything to work with. There's dead air. And I'm like, you're talking about fucking UFOs. I don't know what else you want me to say. Like,
I kept like bringing up something because I'm like, I obviously have a topic I want to talk about, but I'm going to throw it to you being like, hey, what do you know about this? And then you would shit on me being like, I don't know anything about it. And the only thing I'm wanting you to do is, I really don't know anything. What do you know? And then I would be able to start talking
and
about
then me ask questions, and I know. And now it comes...
Because I know once you start talking, you're such an intelligent person that, like, is inquisitive and will talk.
Yeah.
So, like, you would spend more time yelling at me that I asked you a question.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
I know. I had a really hard time just going with the flow. Like, I could not. I'm better now.
No, 100%.
I think
that's the way you're being in front of a mic and nervousness emulated.
This is taking practice for me to like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I was so focused on like what I was saying and how I was saying it that like I sometimes like have to remind myself like it's no different. I'm talking to you. Like, why? Yeah. So
early on, and when we were recording, we had an episode that we recorded, and I'm pretty sure got released, where I was saying there's a lot of people who, when they get stage fright, what happens is they just become very hostile because it's how the nerves are hitting them.
I remember I get frustrated because it's like this didn't feel natural to me.
Right.
I get frustrated less because talking to you in any manner feels natural.
Right.
It always has. I just couldn't get past the fact that there was mics in front of us.
Right.
Low-key will admit, as part of our journey of this podcast and arguing and feeling all that, I sometimes think I'm so happy with what we do. I'm so happy that we have our voices recorded and conversations and nice things about each other and us, just our views and just how we've evolved and all that stuff. I love that all of this is recorded, and I love that the feedback we've gotten from this, podcast so far has been so good.
Right.
I will say there was a moment when I was able to accept the fact that I think the podcast was more of like a good idea.
Right.
And I think this is where it comes into that whole like attention thing where I have a great idea. I think a podcast is awesome. That sounds fun. And then like literally within like weeks of us starting the podcast, like not even really launching, just recording, the editing, all that, and being like, oh, this sucks. Not what we're talking about sucks, but like the commitment sucked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh no, we have to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this right now. I'm like, oh, and I was bored.
Right.
Like there was nothing about it that I was like, this is a terrible idea. Why did I do this?
Right.
And I remember we actually had some arguments early on where we would be like, fuck it, it's not worth it. Now looking back and the fact that like I've pushed through, and like I said, we're flexible, but we pretty much stay to a schedule. Like we've never missed a Friday episode.
No, which is amazing.
So all that other stuff behind the scenes, like the fact that we've just been consistent, and to me now I'm so proud of this project. That's the part that excites me about like
we've done it.
Well, and just our future. It excites me about other things that I can accomplish as an individual. It excites me about things that we accomplish as a couple. And I'm sure for you as well, where it's like, oh, I just have to be consistent. You know?
Because like this, the whole idea of like, I look at right now what we're doing is open mics. Like this is like everything relates back to music to me. Like I just look at it as this is something that I think is entertaining, that I think that people will be entertained by and knowledge based, and it will fill something in their soul that I can provide. Like it's me talking, not as of us, but just me talking. I love that it's there. It's always there. And it doesn't need to be recognized right away. Like my sense of appreciation for what I put out into the world is it's out in the world.
Yeah.
I don't need the immediate reaction to it.
Right.
Like I'm very proud of just having it out there. If it ramps up and gains progress. Awesome.
I see where you're coming from. I'm just talking about the fact that like I'm proud of myself and the fact that I quit everything. Like this is the longest project that I've done for a while. Like aside from art, like which is always on and off, this has been again every week. We have not missed an episode. Like this is the longest thing I've been consistent in. Is what I'm saying.
Oh no, and I'm so proud of you.
The fact that I've done that, I'm just saying, opens up the idea of like, okay, putting in a little, like I said, I wanted to quit early on. I was like, oh, it's just a good idea, but like, oh, I didn't think this was actually going to like,
sorry, I misunderstood.
That's where I was coming from. Is I was just saying that like, I was telling you like a little secret that like, I really wanted to quit the podcast so early on, but I'm glad I did it.
Oh no. So it actually, it's awesome. I love that. And it's funny because like, I kind of got the vibe that you weren't fully into it, right? Like what I was talking about before. Like you did a lot of stuff like subconsciously to kind of kibosh it, right? So I get it that you need to work through these things. It's like when you used to make a cake, you would have something that would come up that you're like, this is the kibosh, I need to quit. And when you follow through, it's always great. And then especially when it comes to us working as a team, you only get better working as a team when you're working as a team.
No, yeah, 100%. Like I said, this has been
so
practice.
That's why it's so good. It's so like I'm saying for me, I'm so happy for it. Like seeing you do it and seeing you being on board. And like what I love now is you don't hesitate now to bring ideas to me. Also knowing full well that when you give me that idea, I'll be like, wow, that's a really cool idea. And we can do this with the idea. And like
you add, and
add to your idea.
Yes.
And you get excited about that.
And I'm trying to get better at that too. Cause there was a while where I would just say no to your idea and then give you a different option, where now I'm trying to say like, oh, I like this piece of your idea, or this is great. And can we do this? It's always about adding.
Yeah.
Because then that just is like us collaborating and working as a team, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been cool. But the overall thought of if the podcast just ended after this and we never did it again, I'd be fine with it. That feeling is diminishing.
Right.
It was really strong in the beginning because I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
And it played on my mind every now and then, like as the episodes went on. But I think now, like it's still there. Like there's still a part of me because it is a lot of work. I think that's it. Like I said, we've been consistent.
Right.
It is a lot of work. The effort that you put in is huge. And then always like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the commitment. Maybe commitment is the only thing that I can really say is crazy because I've never, other than you, I don't commit too much.
Throw you just devil's advocate? I want you to just
Please.
Clear all your like thoughts because I know there's a lot of emotions playing into your brain and there's a lot of what ifs into your brain. Yeah. I know that's what's going on. Yeah. I assume that's what's going on.
Yeah,
I can't say I know.
You're right.
I think that what scares you is I think what you really, really want in life is you look at these other people that you look up to, that you're like, okay, having a kid or being in a relationship and doing this and something that they can look up to and have just a solid base to do. You want to be that in life. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of work to do that. And there's a chunk that has to come out. I think that a lot of the time, the way that you look at a lot of things, do you know what it takes to be an expert at something? It takes like that 10,000 hours or whatever the saying is, right? Yeah. You are so good at so many things and you get pissed off at my good enough attitude that you think you need to go to excellent quickly for it to be excellent. Yeah. Where you've always stopped at good enough. And what blows my mind about you that I'm so excited about you realizing what your good enough is most people's excellent. So I can't wait to see what your excellent is when you actually pour the time and effort into it. Right. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, thanks. That's nice. I'm glad you see it that way.
I don't think there's another way to I can't see it any other way.
I'm laughing at the fact just from our previous episode is like the tone that I just said that in, even though it was a compliment, is like when you would be like, you're being sarcastic. Right. Anyways, I appreciate you saying that, Daniel. That is very nice of you.
I didn't take that as sarcastic at all.
I know. I heard myself though being like, "Oh, that didn't have like a very like soft tone." Anyways, yeah, that's nice.
That was Courtney's processing it while still talking tone. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's why this is why your sarcasm doesn't work as to what we were talking about. I think that's what it might be. I just solved the riddle. Your sarcasm is you talking while you're processing. So when you're talking, like, it's the same tone of voice. Kind of. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what
that makes sense. That makes sense. No, the podcast has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we've gone this far, I think it obviously came with its challenges and some of the arguments that we had. Like,
it would be hard, even if you wanted to
the
quit.
tears.
I don't think I'd let you quit. And if you did quit, I would want to fucking.
There was guilt. There was definitely guilt, like when I wanted to quit, because I was like, "This sucks. Dan's being too hard on me. I'm not a." I remember saying like, "I'm not a fucking puppet," like because I was getting mad. But like, you were just trying to work out the kinks, and to me, it felt controlling. Like I felt like you were it felt like pressure. Felt like I was putting on a show. And you've lightened up a little bit, especially on our endings. Because I remember one of the fights we had over the podcast was you were like how I ended it. Like you were like, well, you're not even saying like what our Instagram is. You're not even giving like an ending. Like you're not.
Whoa,
like,
whoa, wee wah, whoa.
You were mad that I didn't have enthusiasm.
Yeah, but I wasn't mad. I just said
frustrated.
I had brought it up
You suck.
the week before.
You're not an entertainer.
Saying, hey, when you do the outros, can you like just do like, do you mind calling off like what the Instagram is and everything? Because you were hitting the social media. Listen, and I had asked you to be a little more upbeat. And then you had recorded it. I have this on tape. I can play this. Mm-hmm. And then you had done it again, and you had been like, like
no, I'm not talking about the recorded outros. I'm talking about you and I after every episode when we're naturally ending it before the outro that you put in goes in. I'm talking about us just wrapping it up.
No, yeah.
This is before even an outro existed, really.
No, I fully understand that. I know exactly the fight you're talking about.
Okay.
And it was like you had been really sarcastically, because I had asked you nicely the week before to be more like upbeat in your thing. And then the week after you were like really sarcastically, like almost passive aggressively.
Oh, I was like faking it as like a
yeah. So when we
Fox
ended up
News
that, I was like,
anchor.
Are you kidding me? I tried to politely ask you to do something because it's just apparently like nicer looking, and then that's why I freaked out, because I had nicely talked about it. You said I get it, and then passive aggressively fucked the ending.
Yeah. Well, anybody listening who goes back and listens to any other episodes, if you hear me at the end, just very calm, cool, collected, thanks so much for listening. You know, I really hope that you guys can relate to this. Leave a comment if you do, blah, blah, blah. That's me. But if you hear, thanks so much for listening to Dialogue Over Drama. Follow us on Instagram at DIALOGOVERDRAMA. And I don't even think I spelled that right.
Do you fuck chickens?
That is me then faking it to a T.
Yeah, of course. No, but I actually re-recorded the outro, and I just did it and cut that out. So then I just had it.
So funny.
Yeah, but I have the original recording, but I do remember it. But
yeah, but no, now it is more natural. It
was around the episode where, like, I think we were doing games where I started being like, okay, Courtney's bored, so I want to make this more hyper for her, because I knew you were struggling with nerves. I knew you were doing this. Like, it's like when I used to play in the band. If I could see one band member is like bumming out over something, I'm going to do what I can to try to get them to enjoy it.
And if I'm a bummer, then why would you want to listen to this? But either way, I've given a little bit more effort in ending our episodes.
Oh no, I've done the outros the last bunch of times.
You actually have, and that's why I said you've been really nice and soft, and you haven't been so hard on me.
No,
but I will gladly end this one.
Okay, you go ahead.
So thanks for I'm kidding.
So thanks for so. All right, kiddos, that's it.
That's a wrap.
Hey. Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Dialogue Over Drama is recorded in Stony Creek, Ontario. Original music provided by Allegories and Jesse James and the Medicine Show. This has been a Dialogue Over Drama production.